let's move on to scene stealers, who our best actors or actresses are.
So, for the film, we had a star-studded cast. I mean, dude, you cannot make this up. I mean, when you really talk about this cast, let's really, I mean, goodness graciousness now. I mean,
I'll let you know. I've got four honorable mentions because I couldn't, and the winners, because I couldn't nail it down to just one without at least mentioning a few.
you remind me of Tim the Two-Man Taylor. You can't nail it down. Boom. See what I did there? So when you're talking about a star-studded cast, now I want to be one of the ones. I have to be honest when they say, "Oh, this is the first casting years with an all-black cast." It's not an all-black cast. I mean, clearly there were other actors here that were in the film, but when they do talk about the star power that it says, I challenge you to go back and look at any Marvel film. Now, mind you, I'm just not talking about, oh, these are just black actors. No, they're not black actors. They're actors. They're artists. When we go back and check any Marvel film to see how many true artists that I'm finna name, Fenta, yeah, I said it, Fenta. I can say that from Wakanda, sort of. So, with that being said, this film had and featured and honored and showed love and commemoration to Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, Danai Gurira, Daniel Koala, Leticia Wright, Winston Duke, Sterling Brown, Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker. I mean, guys, come on. I'm sorry. Yeah, I saw Iron Man. I saw Terrence Howard. I saw. Yeah, I get it. Don Cheadle. I saw him. I get it. I saw the Tobey Maguires of the world. I said, listen, not knocking. I'm just saying that's star power. A lot of it. So with that being said, my best artist award, as I like to call it, because artist, I don't want to say, actor or actress, goes to Miss Head of the Dora Milaje, Dana Garia, Miss Okoye.
All right.
You win my first award for best artist in this film for several reasons. What I look for when I look for an artist to bring something to me, it's about what is the challenge, what is the degree of difficulty of doing a role. And so one of the hardest things you can do, like as an actor and an actress or an artist, you fight for someone to recognize you as someone. And then when you reach a certain arc, what can happen, especially as a kid, you can get typecast. It's worse for kids. Adults can break out, but kids rarely do it. Like even Harry Potter is still dealing with trying to break free of Harry Potter, even though he did a hell of a job, and Now You See Me Too, but that's for another day. With that being said, she was so famously known, and is so famously known for the character in The Walking Dead. I mean, synonymous. She would have never had to do Black Panther. And you could not go from, she went from a black woman with dreads, like locks down to her back, to a bald headed woman. You can't even go to the extreme. So she does this. Now, mind you, so she does this. So you're already at a deficit because we know you is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest thing for an actor to do is to reinvent himself and make you believe that they're different. So she's already known, and now she has to play the head of the Dora Milaje. So to me, the one word came to mind why I gave her best artist of the film: range.
Yeah.
What did I see you do throughout the film? If you were just a warrior, the badass warrior, you don't get this award from me. If you're just some helpless chick, you just don't get that from me. If you're some vengeful female, you don't get that from me. If you're just some token black woman who's birth feeding and being the conscious, not that, you don't get that from me. But when you have to talk about her character, she showed that she could be a wife to the head of the border tribe. But at the end of the day, the moment that husband, who she honored and cherished and loved, threatened Wakanda, she did not doubt for a second to kill him.
Yeah.
That's number one. Warrior. She was known by Nakia. Nakia called her the fiercest warrior Wakanda had known. She didn't even hesitate. She didn't stutter T'Challa's name.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm getting all, my mind is going to another level. Then friend. She was one of T'Challa's best friends. So imagine how hard it had to hurt her when she said, I am loyal to the throne. Mm-hmm. After she just saw her friends. She wasn't friendly with anybody else in this film other than T'Challa. And the one person she took off her cool from, shout out Andre 3000, the one person she took off her cool for was T'Challa. So now she's lost her friend. Leader. She led the most fiercest warrior tribe the world has ever seen. Willing to die for their king, the leader, protector. And for my Game of Thrones fans, she was the hand of the king. She was right there on his side every single moment. Even when he didn't need it. Okay, yeah, I can handle this. Don't freeze. I got this. Like, we don't need whatever you trying to do. We don't even need that type of pressure tonight. Yeah. We're good. And lastly but not least, she showed her loyalty at the end of the day. As much as she loved T'Challa, loved Wakanda, she was loyal to Wakanda above anything. She told Nakia, I am loyal to the throne.
Yeah.
So basically, why she wins Best Artist for me is no other character throughout that film was either written or performed their duties to a range of what I would like to accept as you already brought in that as a deficit because we knew you from The Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. You made me forget everything about The Walking Dead. You went from dreads to bald head, and you acted the fucking out of that part.
And it just goes to show her range because usually if you're going to show compassion, it's at the expense of looking less weak, badass. She was able to toe that line perfectly where you felt like she could be a protector or just kill you in a blink of an eye. And you never question either way.
Okay. So what do you think? So is you cool with that?
Yeah,
I'm not saying you have to agree. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. But at the end of the day,
we disagree.
We're gonna have to pick one of between my main.
Well, we're not gonna pick. Shouldn't we let them pick?
No.
I got females on my side, so you know I'm gonna win. So it's okay.
All right, but let me get the 4 honorable mentions out of the way.
Jesus Christ! I brought Beyonce. He brought Destiny's Child. Go ahead. Oh my goodness.
You're talking about range. I have to bring up Lupita. Because it may not have been range alone in Black Panther, but when you see her in Little Monsters, Us, Black Panther, I mean, her range alone in Us, from the tethered version to the real version of her, that was insane. But to see her go from, like, comedic action in Little Monsters, where she's borderline a damsel in distress, but also badass, to Us, where she's both badass and the damsel in distress, and then Black Panther, where the range was just great. So I was impressed, intrigued by her characters. And it's not just because I want to run away with her. Sterling K. Brown. All right, so whenever any other actor walks onto a set and they see Sterling K. Brown there, they immediately must be like, man, damn it. There's nobody, all this somebody has to say is, all right, Sterling K. Brown, we need tears. And he's just immediately, waterfalls. It's insane, his ability to cry on demand. And, I knew him from not Life in Pieces. It's another one of those network shows that's
ER?
all about...
Was that on ER?
No, it's the one with Mandy Moore, the Crockpot murder. It always slips my mind because
he's a very underrated actor. He's definitely a thespian. If you have shot at Sterling K. Brown, if you haven't really dove into his career, talk about underrated. I mean,
but to
Jesus
open
Christ.
up the movie with him was a really good choice because you're like, all right, this is already on a different level. This is a movie that's reaching beyond just a superhero film. It's going for depth and drama and real life emotion.
But that's why I don't agree when people say that they just made Killmonger this matriarch or something like that, because again, his dad was so powerful. They letting the first sound you hear in the whole movie is from the stepdad, not the step. You know what I'm saying? Like it's from.
I will prove it to you that I have no problem with Killmonger because it's on my paper here. It's not my issue with Killmonger's story, character development, or anything like that. I just feel like they got him to third base as far as character development, and when it was time for him to run home, they tripped him.
We know why that happened, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's why that's where that black blogger was going, was because at the end of the day, they set him up to be the where any black American could say, I identify with Killmonger. That's who I am. That's who I grew up with.
But what's wrong with that?
No, nothing's wrong with that until it gets to the point where he's running from third base to home, and there's just this, it's almost out of character for him because he got what he wanted and then he goes extreme to where he's hurting the people that, like, he went from being a very, very well fleshed out villain who wasn't even really a villain to the third act becoming your stereotypical villain where I'm just going to damn the world and destruction
Well,
and
see,
chaos.
but no, to me, that's the beautiful part of it. That's where Ryan Coogler comes in as a director. Think about his films from Fruitvale Station to Creed. He didn't do Creed 2, so for you out there, guys, just come on, do some research. But that's where I say, don't just, sometimes Easter eggs are found more just in films. They're found in the film process. And to me, Ryan Coogler was an Easter egg that was found in this film process because with what you just said, with Michael B. Jordan pairing this character and Eric Killmonger, and like you say, they set him up. Here's the easy. What they did was they showed you that at the end of the day, if all you seek is revenge, you will never find love. He never got an opportunity to fully develop and receive love. So he never knew how to, hey, once I get here, let me balance it out, because guess what, his dad's teaching and his lessons were cut short. So his character was fleshed out at like 9 or 10 years old. His dad was ripped from his life, so while he was beginning to receive and see love, all in his environment, he saw killing every day. He saw not having every day. He saw his dad telling you we're from heaven, but we're living in hell. So most of his childhood life, and which is where the brain is formulated here in most of the younger parts of your life, all he saw was negativity. So you can't tell me his character wasn't fleshed out at the end. I think it's by happy accident. I don't think Marvel went this deep. I do think it's by happy accident.
He's coming around third base and he's like,
but how did he trip?
Just as close to redemption.
Show me when he was,
because he's just as close to redemption as he is to total chaos and destruction, and he got nudged the other way.
If you saw education and for majority of your life, for let's say that they came when he was 10 or 12. He saw education for majority. He saw 80% education, 20% love. The moment when he could understand the education and maybe the love was coming, it was ripped away from him. So I cannot blame him for saying I want to see my people liberated by any cost, because he ran into people that looked like him that didn't understand in the States.
No,
so,
I believe everything that, I believe his actions. I believe he has a reason for the act. The writers did a good job in setting up the third act. I just wish they would have set it up, tweaked a few things so that the third act could transpire a little bit differently and be a redemption story. Like, oh man, you thought this was the villain. No, this is not the villain. This is we just snuck an origin story for another superhero, for an advocate.
But they did do that. That's the beautiful part about it. He did not die. At the end of the day, he acknowledged like good move, cousin, which I thought was a little cheesy. They're trying to wrap it up. But even me and you've done the research, and here's the thing: they were shortchanged. Now they were not shortchanged in the budget. Let's be fair to the film. The budget was $200 million.
They were shortchanged on time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And confines of the story, which is why Ava decided not to do the film. And like I say, F. Gary Gray, who did Fate of the Furious, had another project to do. So, but with that being said, they were shortchanged on time. However, I have to be honest. Like we both agreed that we did not like the final. The film was so significant and awesome up until the arc of the action at the end. Anything could have happened at the end, but we don't. We both agree that we don't like that. So
all right. So my next honorable mention is Leticia Wright. Her portrayal of Shuri is one of my favorite things about the movie. Easily, the energy that she brings to the movie. It kind of brought me back to Patrice in Coming to America, like the sister.
Oh,
something about her reminded me of. It was something about her character.
Why does she always get the good ones?
Like she was this beautiful vacation from all of the troubles that come with the plot you're following. You just kind of get to take a break and have these moments with her that are like, one, it humanizes everybody, but yeah, she was great. And then last honorable mention goes to Winston Duke as M'Baku. Just the way, I think if anybody else would have played that character, it may not have come out as well. Like the way that that character naturally progressed from somebody that was like, not an enemy of T'Challa, but they were at odds, to someone that ends up, man, when he comes running in and saves the day like Ex Machina style at the end, in the end fight scene.
Witness the power of the Jabari, and you If you say one more word, I will feed you to my children. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm a vegetarian.
Number one though, the if I had to give an award to one person, it would be Michael B. Jordan, because every scene he is in draws you in, because he has this I'm sorry, he has this intensity, like, and I can understand why you feel,
so you understand
because
that. You understand
it's
that.
like real recognizing real. You bring that intensity, so you must feel like, why the hell am I not in his position? I recognize.
Well, I know why I'm not in his position.
But
I have a problem that I'm working on.
But can you disagree though? Like, he is.
Oh no, he brought
every scene he's in. It doesn't. He just like it's again. It's like watching Heath Ledger in The Joker, where it's like, oh, this guy is in it.
Have you seen Kill?
I've seen it. Yeah, quite a bit of it. And
I just want to ask. Okay,
yeah,
so,
no,
okay.
I'm not making a comparison between Michael B. Jordan and Taurean Royal. I'm just saying that in Black Panther, he is easily, whenever he was on the screen, I found myself thinking, I wish this was just a Killmonger movie. And
I do like that. I do like that.
Which is
that would be dope.
reason,
that would be dope.
Like, he's
Marvel,
such a great villain.
That would have to be
And I think just like with what Heath Ledger did with the Joker, the reason why the Joker was like revitalized with the Dark Knight is the same reason why Jordan's performance as Killmonger like made him such a great, like, fleshed out villain, where he was 3-dimensional. You felt like because he brought this human side of it when he was the trauma that he felt as a child. You could actually see that he wasn't just playing this angry guy that wanted revenge like some 80s action movie. When he came with the anger and the animosity, you could still see the pain and passion in his eyes and like the real human side. Like, he was somebody that was hurting and lashing out. So that the way he brought that to life was amazing. And when you play a villain and convince the audience that you might be that you're the good guy or get them on your side, that's a great actor.
Hopefully I can say this and persuade you the other way, because this is where the beautiful part comes in. I've listened to all your arguments all night, and I don't disagree with what you just said. I'm not knocking with you. This is not a sarcastic twist. I'm using your own argument against yourself, because I want you to think about something. You're telling me that that at the beginning of the episode you told me that a lot of people didn't like how Eric Killmonger was portrayed in. The same argument that the blogger says, where he says that the character was not fleshed out and they made him this militant. I somewhat say that sometimes you can't let your opinions shade what you're watching, because when we want to believe something, we watch for what we want to believe. However, at the very beginning of the movie, they show a child that, again, I mentioned this earlier, that his father got killed. His father was already teaching him about the greatest place in the world while his son was living in hell. That's hard enough to deal with it on its own. Then tangle that with, you show up one day, you see this alien-looking spaceship, which f***s your mind up. Like, nobody's talking about that. They're in Compton and you see a fucking alien spaceship. It's one thing to see a drive-by, but I just saw a fucking alien spaceship. Mm-hmm. Not only that, I go upstairs and see my daddy killed with claws that look like panthers. So say all that. Okay, fast forward. Now, the first time after that we meet Eric Killmonger, he is in one of the dopest museums ever, looking highly educated with these exact glasses on. So Marvel, save some money on the glasses you buy, and just hire me as an understudy at least next time. And these things are happening. But one of the top 10, one of the top 3 out of 10 dopest lines are mentioned in that scene alone. So when we meet Eric Killmonger as an adult, we're showed how educated he is with 90 seconds. So no one can tell me his character was not fleshed out, David, because he says, I didn't even put this in my book because I've seen it and I mentally memorized it a billion times. He says, you've been watching me since I came here, but you're not you're not concerned about what you're putting in your body. That's a line for everybody that eats fast food and does all that crazy shit. You more so concerned about what I'm doing. You're not concerned about what you're putting in here. Then he educates the lady that works at the library. He was like, what's this? She was like, oh, this was discovered by British soldiers in Belize or whatnot, and blah, blah. He was like, yeah, it was taken by British soldiers, but it's actually from Wakanda. She's like, excuse me? She's so offended. She don't even want to fact check this shit. This this bitch is so offended that some nigga is in her museum in some country that's not America telling her about some shit that she done went to school and paid $100,000 for. Let's just call it for what this is. This podcast is going to be honest. So she's so offended. She refuses to believe the shit. But he don't even get dismayed by that. What does he say? But don't worry about that. He dismisses how dumb the she is because she can only sees color and says, don't worry, I'm going to take it off your hands for you. And in her mind, because for some reason, she elevates her mind. I'm thinking she's going to say, he think he finna steal it. For some reason, somebody told her right along the way, she says, oh, it ain't for sale. Well, I really think she did was she don't want her ass beat no more. But she says, oh, this is not for sale. You're like, nah. And then he re-educates this for the second time. So she thought she done came back from life and rechecked herself. And he says, I'm going to take it just like the British soldiers took it. What you thought this was given to you, it was taken by British soldiers. So I'm going to take it back. Mm-hmm. So he educates her 3 times with her body, where it came from, and where it's going. Now help me out again, David. What's in her body, where it's going, and where it came from? Brother, that's past, present, and future. So what I'm saying is, don't tell me, black blogger, that his character was not fleshed out. He let his anger and his greed take over at the end of the day. I do this shit. I've seen every fucking Marvel movie. All 21 or 22 movies of the Infinity Gauntlet. Several times. So while I will allow people to have their opinion, check me on the shit that I know, because I do this.
All right. So to be clear, the argument is never, is Killmonger a fleshed out character? The issue that the blogger has is that it's the one character that Black America can identify with, and coincidentally, that's the villain.
That's incorrect. You don't think a bunch of America identified with T'Challa? Peaceful? Hey, I'm king of Wakanda. Hey, man, I'm king of my community. I ain't got to worry about everybody else.
And he says, you think T'Challa's letting you into his party? You ain't from there.
But who said that? Now, you know who said that.
That's the blogger.
No.
What?
Fucking Ulysses Claw said that. He said that while in interrogation.
But that's kind of T'Challa's. That's the establishment's way of looking at things. That's why they don't help anybody. He's like, oh, what do they do at the end of it? Set up a community center. Motherfucker, we already got community centers. You got the YMCA. That doesn't do anything. Make the change.
Let me ask you something innately, because we discussed a lot in life as friends and as filmmakers. But as a person, I've never asked you this from a film perspective, and it's combining the two. While we both agree with Killmonger's perspective, and at the end of the day, if we had to cast our ballot, we both are in the Killmonger crew. We both agree with that. With that being said, was T'Challa at the end of the day so wrong? Is he not a form of AI saying, because maybe they did show how smart he was, saying, listen, I've seen this before. It's the same thing with the Matrix. What did the machines realize? Humans were bad for themselves. Mm-hmm. Is not T'Challa a preemptive, a beta version of AI saying, I'm not king of everybody. I can only tell you what my facts say. That we don't each other up, that we eat right, and that 25% of awesome is better than 70% of I don't know what the fuck happening.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking, brother. Now talk to me about that. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I think T'Challa was on the right path, but I think Killmonger was already there, and then at the end was some politically safe compromise that fell closer to T'Challa. And then he goes to the United Nations, and as exciting as that is for them to have the seat at the table, and United Nations has no idea what has even come to the table as far as how great they are. As awesome as that scene was, it's still this you're compromising for the sake of what? What is? And I'm not talking about the story itself. I'm talking about a message that's trying to be sold by the producers, by Marvel, or by the powers that be that put this out. It's this it's kind of like a statist and status quo point of view, and be okay with that, and that's okay. But I think Killmonger's even as extreme as he was in the end, I think it would have been I still fall on his side of things. I don't think there should have been diplomacy.
No, I agree with you 100%. But I think we both also agree that I wouldn't have went as far as, like you say, when he choked the lady in the heart-shaped herb garden and did those things, said burn the garden. That shows of hate. It shows if you let rage control you, or if you let envy control you, that you lose sight of what it is. And so that's why I say at the end of the day, T'Challa cannot be understated. For as much as I agree with Killmonger and his ways, I don't agree with how he ended up, and I don't agree with how docile T'Challa was for most of the movie. I don't agree. Like his father was probably the perfect blend of what diplomacy was. Like I had to omit the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean that's I mean I'm sorry. Like I mean,
usual.
like you got to end on like
so between Killmonger and what's your girl's name?
without a shadow of a doubt. Apologies to my pronunciation. Shout out to Dania Garuria. And I'm pretty sure I'm doing that wrong. Charge it to my heart and consumption this evening, not my appreciation and admiration for what you do. With that being said, if I had to choose between her and Michael B. Jordan, and I'm going to choose her, but that is not an indication of what Michael B. Jordan did. Even as an actor, you only can do so much to what your part allows. If Michael B. Jordan was not allowed the range that she was allowed, he was only allowed to play maybe a 2 or 3 dimensional role, which is if you're a great actor, it's hard, but you can do it because you're committing to the role. And he's an actor that commits to the role. When I don't see you pop up on TMZ or Media Takeout every other day, I know you're somewhere committing to your role.
Is this coming from a completely unbiased?
100% correct, because you have to understand, I knew both of them, but prior to the Black Panther film, I knew her from The Walking Dead, and I knew him from The Wire.
Yeah, I
when
know,
he first
but
got his start.
she's not going out for any roles that you'd want in Hollywood.
Does not matter. Like at the end of the day, I may talk, but I still respect Michael B. Jordan.
All right, so
I'm sorry, man. Come on, bro. Was that not awesome? Come on, man.
I will give you this one, and because it's your pick this episode.
No, oh no, that's not fair. Now come on.
No, I
want this on the living wake. I want this on the living wake. I want all of this smoke on the living wake.
I agree with everything that you said. Like, I can't disagree with anything you said.
Okay,
Those are
all right.
deeply good reasons.
Okay.
And I don't have those good
reasons. But no,
reasons
tell me your reasons for him. I want to say I want the other side.
I pretty much presented my argument when I said him, but I agree with that, and I would like to see her. So at the end of this first season, for our final episode, we're going to take every best actor, actress, or artist that we chose, and we're going to put them all up against each other. We'll put them all, 13 actors or actresses or artists, on a whiteboard, and we will erase them each one by one until there is only one left, the best actor, actress, or artist of the entire season. So I would rather see her on there because I feel like Michael B. Jordan would just wipe the board with whoever else we put on there, and it's going to be a washout from the get-go on episode 1.
Unless Okoye was on there, and then he won't wipe the board.
Okay, yes, so again, I'll give it to you. Okay, that concludes our Scene
He's
Stealers.
Going so royal right now.
Scene Stealers segment's out. Let us know in the comments what you thought.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Click that little bell thing.
Ding!
Let us know in the comments, did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Who'd you think was the best? All that good stuff. Argue about it in there and help our algorithm.
That's the trailer.